Greetings, the Astro 30 here with a brand new video for you. Yes, and welcome to this new shiny video. You're probably wondering what I'm doing. Well, I've gone out to JCar and bought some shit, and I bought another CT1930 tweeter, a couple of 15 ohm 5 watt resistors, some mini spade female terminals, and a crimp tool because, well, I don't have one currently at the moment. What I plan to do with the resistors is I want to put two tweeters in that box. Now, we had a 10 ohm across the tweeter and it made it sound much more reasonable. However, when I connected another tweeter to it, it started to sound a little bit shrill. So I'm reckoning using two of these 15 ohm resistors across each of the tweeters, which will bring our total DC resistance down to 7.5 ohm. Will probably be around about right to make two tweeters sound good in that box, but there's only one way to find out. We've got to test it, and both my housemates are out at the moment, so I can make a bit of noise. And the reason for the spade terminals is I want to wire the drivers properly, i.e. I want to have them disconnectable at the driver and then have it hardwired at the crossover, rather than using the PCB pin method that I'm doing now because it's a bit wanky. So, without further ado, I'm going to crack open the speaker again and I'm going to insert these resistors across, well, the first tweeter and the second one. Okay, so we take this wanky dummy thing out, if I can get it out. Okay, so this is going to be slightly awkward. I need to get two jumper cables through that other hole and across this driver, so I wonder if I can just jam this in here and wrap it around it. Maybe not. I mean, it's going to be permanently soldered anyway, but I just want to make this easier on myself so I don't have to use so many jumper cables just to make a connection. If that makes sense, that should be connected. Right, so that's the positive. That's the negative. Sorry, that's the negative, that's the positive. I had it the right way around. So I'll fish these up through the hole. And out the other side, if I can grab the green one wherever you buggered off to. Alright, I'll put that in the hole. Beauty. So that is the positive. Now I'm going to carefully put that back in the hole so I don't lose the connections. Alright, put a couple of screws in each driver just to hold it in place, and then I'll set up the amplifier on the desk, which is going to be the ESP Project 101 again, because that is a good amplifier. Now it's on a heatsink, should make it better for testing for longer periods of time. Alrighty, now I am still waiting for the grill I ordered. I ordered that like Wednesday last week, I believe. And it's only Wednesday the next week, so yeah, it'll come whenever it comes. Alright, let's get going. Okay, got everything set up. I had an issue with the amplifier not working correctly because of a voltage connection issue. Alright. sound too bad. The treble is a little bit on the high side, but it's not annoying or obnoxious as it was with without any modification to it. So I am actually quite happy with the result of that. So what I need to do now is I'll need to wire it permanently so it's, you know, not just a bunch of jumper cables inside the speaker box. And then we'll do a final test, and then we will put it to bed, and then I can then think about starting to pull the box all apart again so I can cut the holes I need. I need one in the front and one in the rear. And I'm pointing at things and the camera can't even see it. Right, so I'm just going to unplug it and make sure it doesn't make any weird noises. No, it seems quiet as a mouse. Excellent. Absolute bastard. I spent the last half an hour looking for this and looked in the same box about 4 times, couldn't find it. Found it. I knew I didn't throw it out. Right, now I can continue. I haven't done anything else but look for this bloody sodding speaker cable. My life. Right, now I could only get these red female ones. I couldn't get the blue ones in the 8-pack. I could only get them in the 100, and I didn't want that. So I'm going to take a piece of heat shrink and put it on the negative lead before I crimp this on, so I can then heat shrink over the top of the insulation. So we now know what the colour actually is supposed to be. I haven't crimped wires in a while. I think that's crimped. Yep. I'll just make sure. That should be crimped. I can always do an electric conductivity test. Then I can just place my heat shrink over the end of the red bit. Up to about there's good enough, and just shrink it. Like so. And now it's a black lead. Yay. Right, now I've just got to do this another 5 times. Right, well I might as well get these resistors soldered across the tweeters. I've already cleaned the solder off the first one I already soldered the wire to. Okay. Should be good enough. I'll trim the excess off shortly. I'll just do the other one and move on. Okay, about half an hour later I've got it soldered to the board. I've got the crimps on the other end and I marked which ones are the 2 tweeters. Don't need to mark the base. Problem with the base driver is I don't have the right crimp connector for the negative. It uses a special type of connector on that pin. It's called a phone connector. I can get them from J-Car, didn't think about getting that this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily solder across the negative wire on the terminal here and just plug the positive into the spade connector after I clean the old solder off. Okay, this is highly annoying, but it's only temporary until I get the correct crimp. Doesn't have to be a perfect joint, just as long as it's a joint. It's got to come off again anyway. Right, the crossover and the tweeters are already in. So all I have to do is just plop this in and line up where my holes have gone. There should be somewhere. Well, obviously they're somewhere. The question is where. There should be one there. It's always a good idea when assembling speakers not to use a drill driver, because the tendency to slip and then pierce through the cone is pretty great. So I'll just stick 4 screws in, seeing as there's 4 screws just lying around here, just to make sure the driver's held in. I'm going to put longer screws in later, they're just only there to hold it. So hopefully, if I can get this screw started, wherever the hole is, there it is. Hopefully, if I've done my homework correctly, don't want to over tighten them because I'll strip it out. Hopefully, if I've done my homework correctly, this should work. Okay, the SP amp actually sounds pretty good, to be honest. Alright, let's go. You gonna play or? Okay, it sounds alright, but I'm not done there. I'm going to use an online tone generator. That is 15 hertz. I'm just listening for any cabinet vibration that shouldn't be there. Sounds alright. Okay, I think there's enough of that. How did the amp fare? Not even hot. It's not even warm. Right, well, it didn't sound too bad, even with the frequency generator going into it. Yeah, the highs are still a little bit over the top maybe, but don't forget the source material that I'm using for testing. It comes off the YouTube audio library, and a lot of them tracks are mastered with boost in treble to give it more airiness, and sometimes that can sound terrible on different types of sound systems. However, it's good enough for what I want to do. I'm going to have to go out and get the proper phone connector for that smaller terminal on the bass driver, and I've achieved my goal of making the drivers disconnectable from the cabinet via the connection terminals as you're supposed to, and destroyed 3 crimp spade connectors in the process. Didn't crimp properly, or cracked it or broke it or whatever. So out of the 8 connectors I had, I ended up with 5 usable. But oh well, doesn't matter, I only needed 5. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to rate, comment and subscribe below, and you can always follow me on Facebook or become a Patreon member, and become a Patreon member for as little as $1 a month. Anyway, this is the Astro Theist saying see ya. I'm loving the bass. I'm all about that bass, no treble.